What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be looking at another draft prospect for the upcoming NBA draft. The Bulls have the 11th pick if you guys are unaware, and we need to make sure we make the right pick. So with that being said, we're going to be looking at a center today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't necessarily know how to pronounce his last name at least, but his name is Kyle Filipowski. Hopefully I said his name correctly. We're going to talk a little bit about what I like and what I don't like about this specific player in this video. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, and I guess whether or not you you think this is the right type of draft selection to make for the upcoming NBA draft. So again, I know a lot of people want to see forwards and centers for the most part, and I will try to put my attention on the people that I think are deserving of it at the end of the day. So we are going to be talking about a center today. So what do we know about him? Well, we know he played for Duke. We know he's 7 foot tall, around 248 pounds, and he is the age of 20, ladies and gentlemen. So he's a young center, has a little bit of skill to his name, played for Duke. I respect Duke. I feel like a lot of good players come from Duke. And yeah, altogether, there's a lot of solid stuff about him. But we also need to take a deeper dive into the statistics. So he averaged around 16.4 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, shooting 50% from the field. So those stats also look really good, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we've already talked about Zach Edey before as a center, so it's hard not to compare the two because they're the only two centers I've really talked about here, but they're completely different in a lot of ways. Like, genuinely, they're complete opposite type of players. So what do we like about, of course, Kyle Filipowski here? Well, first and foremost, looking at the strengths that I saw, this man is very much a skilled offensive player, and he is a player that could do a lot of things on the offensive end. He has a variety to his game. He's a very good passing big man. Some of the passes you've seen him make out of the post, out of a pick and roll situation, are just fantastic. Of course, he can spread the floor. He's able to shoot mid-ranges. He's able to shoot from the three. He does do somewhat well in the post as well. There were a couple of highlights where he was able to just make quick decisions in the post that was very, very effective, whether it was a pass or a spin move or just finishing around the rim with both hands. Really, really skilled offensive talent right there. He also has a decent potential to become a good shot blocker in the NBA. Now, he averages 1.5 blocks per game at the college level. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that's going to translate to the NBA level. I would assume if you're comparing between him and Zach Edey, I think Zach Edey is more likely to get more blocks because of the pure size advantage and the muscle advantage he'll have on most other players. So, of course, I don't necessarily think he's going to get to that level of shot blocking, but there's still potential there to become a shot blocker at the NBA level. And that's all you could really ask for at this point in time at the college level. So ultimately, a really, really, really good offensive player. In many ways, he kind of does remind me of Nikola Vucevic a little bit. A passing big man. Now, we've said for ages, I guess the biggest reason why we wanted to keep Vucevic around is because how much he can impact the offensive end, not just by scoring, but by playmaking, by making the right decision from the post or trying to, make a bounce pass and stuff like that. If you get a guy like Kyle in the team, maybe there is a situation where he could become the next Vucevic replacement. And yes, it's a younger replacement and you definitely need to work with him, but his ability to pass, his ability to spread the floor, that could be something that we need if we replace Nikola Vucevic. But there's weaknesses, of course. Now, I'm not saying his defensive work is a weakness, but what I am going to say is overall, he seems to be inconsistent. From the mock draft that I saw and the strengths and weakness category that I read, he sometimes goes missing in games. Now, that is something that I'm not going to find from a highlight. If you search up a highlight video for Kyle Filipowski, you're not going to see a video of him disappearing in a game, right? So I can't judge this effectively because I don't watch every single full college game. I just don't have that time to do that. So when I'm reading the scouting report and that's something that appears, that is something I can't really prove myself. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for the most analytical section of, I guess, you know, the draft analysis of the player, you might have to go somewhere else in terms of that category, because I don't know if he's inconsistent or not. But the scouting report suggests that he does disappear in some games. Something that I definitely noticed, for a 7-footer, he averages around 8.3 rebounds. I don't necessarily think that is the best return from someone at the college level, in all honesty. And I do expect that to get a little bit worse when you're in the NBA, when you're versing multiple 7-footers, when you're probably versing 2 7-footers in the same team. And of course, the strength advantage is going to go to those veterans. I do see him struggling on the rebounding side of things at the NBA level. Now, thankfully, again, centers always take time to adjust. So if you're getting a center, you have to really take a deeper grasp into the fact that he's not fully developed yet. He still needs to get a little bit of muscle. He still needs to improve in his mobility and his lateral quickness and his boxing out and just playing against more physical players. The NBA is a physical league, ladies and gentlemen. So you definitely expect over the course of the few years, being that he is already a rather strong and rather tall individual, that's only going to get better. But so far, that is a weakness you have to put in his cap. So 2 big weaknesses there. Not very consistent, apparently. Struggling when it comes to, of course, the rebounding side of things. I think that will very much struggle him at the NBA level. So, some positives. Very well-defined offensive player. Weaknesses, not very consistent player. That does remind me of Nikola Vucevic as well. I can't lie, especially towards the beginning of last season at least. He was very inconsistent. Now, with that being said, would I take him with the 11th overall pick? Now, keep in mind, the mock drafts that I've seen, it's crazy. It's all crazy because we just don't know who's right for the job and who's wrong for the job. There are mock drafts I've seen him go mid first round, late lottery, and there are some that I see him going late first round and into the second round. That's what I've seen over the course of the mock drafts that I've seen. The one specific one I looked at, he went 24th to the New York Knicks, I believe. So that's definitely a reach if you want to pick him at 11th. But at the end of the day, draft combines and the potential of the player at the NBA level will ultimately put him up a couple of picks, in my opinion. Because I do think he has potential as an offensive-minded center. Someone that can spread the floor, shoot the three, pass out of the post. Those are hard to come by. I think he has natural ability on the offensive end, to an extent that I think he has more natural ability on the offensive end than what I saw from Zach Edey, for example. But I would only consider getting this player if you move on from Nikola Vucevic. It's as simple as that. If you're going to keep Nikola Vucevic around for another season, which most people do not want to see, but if it does happen, I don't want 2 players that are very similar to each other on the same team. Because we need something different. Vucevic isn't going to get the job done every single game, so you need an Andre Drummond that's more physical, can grab more rebounds, and can just really attack the offensive glass at a higher level. So therefore, if you're going to keep Vucevic around, and Drummond is the one to leave, for example, I wouldn't necessarily replace him with Kyle, unfortunately. But if Vucevic was to get traded and we'd use that talent, use that trade to get a forward or anybody else really, maybe even future draft picks, I would consider bringing him in because I do like what he can offer on the offensive end. I really, really do. I do think it's worth taking a chance on him. If I had to compare who I want between Zach Edey and Kyle Filipowski at the moment, I think I would have to go for Zach at this point in time. I don't think he's naturally more talented, Zach, but he's got really good shot blocking ability. He's 7'4", which could be a very big advantage considering how the league is going these days. A lot of 7'2", 7'3" players. And there's still potential in him as well. He has potential to finish around the rim with his left and his right. Hopefully, he needs to improve on his left hand. And apparently from the draft combine, he shot well from the three-point line. So if you can add that into your game, there's a big advantage there for him with his height advantage. I'm not too sure. They both feel very raw to me. They both feel very not the final product. And that's how it should be when you're a 19, 20-year-old individual. You know, you're not going to be the finished article. So honestly, it's a coin toss. Just depending on what you want from the center position will ultimately define your answer. And what we do with the other players in this team will define your answer as well. So, again, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in. But if we brought him in and kept Vucevic, I would very much be questioning AK and what the heck this front office is doing. What do you think? Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.